Hi there, thank you for coming back to Elektro Vox. Today I have the wonderful Fanale from Caustic, who you may also know as part of Klack and Daddy Bear. So thank you, Matt, for joining us.
Of course.
Okay, so it's been over a decade since you've been in the UK, is that correct?
That is correct.
So how is it to be back?
It's wonderful. I miss this country. I love this country. And there's so many good people here that I've met the times I have been here before and through social media and everything. So it's just nice to see everybody again after quite a long time. So yeah, it's great. We flew in and we made it in and that's got all our stuff. That's all I cared about was getting here with the stuff. Stuff's here, I'm happy.
You didn't have any problems getting over here?
No, fortunately. I mean, there's in the U.S., I guess North America, there's a festival called Terminus, and the band Kite from Sweden, none of their stuff showed up, and a band from Chicago named Pixel Grip, who I know, they didn't get any of their stuff. Everybody was able to pull together as all the bands were there to help, which was fantastic. But I was deathly afraid of. We pared down all of our gear, which is normally not a ton, but we got it all in our carry-on luggage to make sure we could have exactly what we needed, if the minimum we needed to do things. So yeah, we didn't have any problems, but we left yesterday, got here today, being Friday, and so I'm on very little sleep, but I'm very excited to be here. So yeah,
good, glad to hear it. And some other people may know you from Industrial Gossips.
Yes.
So what's happened to that? Because it's been a while since you posted.
I was trying to bring it back on TikTok, and it's one of those things that I love doing because people really responded to, which was incredibly flattering because I kind of just make goofy stuff up and and do that. But I kind of just got burnt out on it, and I also am a person who doesn't want to repeat a joke.
Yeah.
So I also I have like the original scripts that I would read, but I need to kind of put it into an Excel sheet to make sure I'm not making the same joke. Because you can only make so many tattoo jokes or so many X, Y, or Z jokes or just inappropriate jokes. But so I mean, it's going to come back in some form occasionally. But I was doing it on TikTok because it's so quick to record on there. But I just need the time, and I've got real job, family, trying to actually finish music for a new album and things. So I have a limited time and creativity in that respect. But I'd like to bring it back because people really always bring it up, and it's nice that it's remembered because it was just me goofing around and recording it on my lunch breaks in my van. Oh. So it was very, very low budget, but worked.
And it wasn't just the sort of industrial gossips you did as well on TikTok, which you've just mentioned there. You also given out advice to sort of bands and promoters as well. So it was really nice sort of little niche you added into that.
Yeah, I've been doing that since MySpace. That was one of the things I started because Caustic started in about 20 years ago, 2002-ish, but I didn't put any music out for at least a year. But that was kind of a thing that I was doing on just to kind of attract people, because I started off as a DJ. I still DJ. Then I turned into kind of a promoter, and I actually did a fest for several years, much smaller than Infest. But I kind of learned the ropes by just doing each job, and so I was able to share, insights and like, how do you get booked? If you're going to book somebody, what do you ask? Things just like that. So I was trying to share some of that and some of the Bandcamp stuff too, because I've been doing Bandcamp since forever. I'm not a person who is competitive in the sense that I like to keep all my little good ideas and things I figured out to myself. I think it's important to share, especially for newer artists, so they don't have to make the same mistakes. Because it kind of drives me crazy if I see somebody making a mistake, and we can offer advice, and people can make their own mistakes. But I don't know. It makes me happy to be able to share things with people and to try and make their lives easier and to help them along on their journey. I think I can be a very negative person, but I like to try and do very positive things to help others because people remember, and it's good karma thing if you're into that kind of thing. So
yeah, I mean, with every interview, I do try and ask a band what advice would they give to someone either sort of starting up in music or just generally in the scene, and it's good to see that you've already sort of preempted that and you're doing it anyway.
Oh yeah, and I love writing things up and offering advice because you help people. It's hard enough to do all this stuff. It's a very crowded market or whatever you want to call it, and every genre is like that. So if somebody's going to pay attention, they're going to learn a couple things. I have a guy I know from a band called Unicode Machine really was paying attention to what I was saying, and he put out an album himself and was basically following my playbook, as well as Daniel from Aesthetic Perfection, who also does a lot of videos like that. And he, best sales he'd ever gotten, best press he'd ever gotten. He did it all himself, and he just literally told me, he's like, I was following what you did and what Daniel does, and I was just paying attention, and it worked great. And I was like, cool, because you never know if it's going to work great. It could just work for me because I'm me, you know. But yeah, so it's take it or leave it. If you don't want it, it's free advice, and if you don't want it, ignore it. It's fine. It took me half an hour to write, and and if it helps, it helps. So
exactly
yeah.
so. And I've just interviewed Marie from Grab Your Face.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she's done some vocals for you with your Daddy Bear project.
Yes.
So, what's it like to work with Marie?
She's fantastic. I first, we were actually talking about this when we both got picked up at the airport. I didn't realize she was Grab Your Face. We were friends on Facebook, but I mean, you get a lot of friend requests, and if they don't look like they're skeezy, or if we have mutual friends that I actually respect their opinions when they add people. So some people add anybody, I don't add just everybody. But I heard her do False Gods, the Covenant song that she did the vocals on, and I just thought she sounded incredible, and I was like intimidated because I was like, she sounds so cool. And then we were talking, and I forget how it came. We were just messaging back and forth about something music, and then that's how I found out she was Grab Your Face, and we both bought some of each other's music. And then I was doing some Daddy Bear stuff, and I'm like, I would really like vocals on this, but I don't want to do vocals myself for the project.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, well, she's really cool. I'll see if she's interested. And I just asked her. She said yes. And then we've done several. She is not on every track, because Daddy Bear is still kind of technically me, but now, I mean, because the tracks that she's been doing vocals on are really the popular tracks, which is fantastic. I mean, people kind of associate us together, which is no problem on my part either. But I mean, I write the lyrics. She does a lot of improvisation and adding cool other stuff to it to make it even better. But yeah, it's this is the first day we've met in person, which is awesome because we've worked together the last 3 years, I think, now on stuff. So yeah, she's wonderful. She's wonderful. She's so talented, and I love her music and just how like raw and intimate her lyrics are. Yet still very. You can tell she's just got a lot of fire in her, and I'm very impressed by her Grab Your Face stuff. So it's an honor to be working with her.
Yeah, and I mean, you spend a lot of time around other incredible artists as well. So
I try to.
So you have a connection, of course, with like Morris Black and Goth. So tell us a bit about that.
Well, Morris Black, we met kind of online, and as I mentioned before we started recording, he kind of gives me credit for him in a way, because I posted a link to a Broken Notes song on my Caustic Facebook page, because I like to share things that I just think sound cool, and again, spread the word. But he liked that so much, and that he started that's what drove him to start making his industrial bass sound, which is leaps and bounds over a lot of stuff out there now, and he's very popular. And he and Marie and I did our track Crimes of Passion, because she had done a track with him as well. But Brian I met through the Madison, Wisconsin scene, because he was going to school there, and the Gothicals, he just started doing the Gothicals, I think-ish. The previous name of it was the Sleep Disorder, and then he became the Gothicals right around then, and I did a compilation of all local bands, which was Strong Current, Null Device, Caustic's first track, Gothicals, a lot of Anaeride Psychosis, a lot of bands that became much bigger, and he put an English license on it, the first version of something called English License, which is making fun of bands from Europe who can't pronounce words correctly and things like that. It's very cute, and he loves all the bands. I mean, it was never, with Brian, it's never a malicious thing at all. He's just goofing because it's a funny topic or a funny idea, But then he was part of Caustic since the first show. He actually came up and did backing vocals at my first Caustic show that I ever did, and then he was a long-running member of Caustic, and I was a long-running member of the Gothicals off and on as Sega Lugosi, which was like his evil counterpart that would come up when we'd do songs together. And I actually last year put out Sega Lugosi as like a solo act, pretending that I broke off from the Gothicals in his imperial, tyrannical ways, and which was funny because he wrote all the music for it, and I just wrote the lyrics and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would trash talk him over his beats and stuff like that. So it was just jerking around. But we also did the Causticals, which was a collaboration that he and I did, but that was like 2014, I think now. The album Eric Gottesman, who was playing with Glass Apple Bonsai, because we named it after our friend Eric.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what artists that you haven't collaborated yet with would you like to?
Gosh. I mean, there's tons. I mean, I guess my ideal people that I would like to are way out of my league. But I mean, I would love to collaborate with Mike Patton. Mike Patton's a massive influence. Mr. Bungle and Faith No More, big influence on me. Yeah. So Mike Patton would be way up there. Oh gosh, who else? EMA, who's an American artist. She toured with Depeche Mode some, and she had an album that was just massive to me. That meant a lot to me at the time, and I mean, there's a lot of people that I wouldn't mind, just finally doing some stuff with. And there's a lot of people who've said we should do something, and then maybe in 5 years it happens because everybody's so busy all the time. But yeah, this and in this scene, I mean, I've been very fortunate to have gotten more yeses than nos. My basic philosophy is it never hurts to ask.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if they say no, it's fine. So
that's how I got to this. Just you asked.
Yeah,
right?
I actually wanted to collaborate with the Bug, who worked in Techno Animal, and he's a big UK does some raga stuff, and he's amazing. And so I just emailed him like, would you like to collaborate? But he emailed me right back. He couldn't do it, which was not a surprise. Doesn't know me at all. But sometimes people say yes. Sometimes they have that. I just happen to have that opening in my schedule, and I listen to your track and I like it. So who knows? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people I'd like to, but maybe one day.
And a random fact is that in the Battlestar Galactica universe, there is a pilot called Matt Fanale, call sign Caustic.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about?
My friend Brandon Jerwa was a comic book writer. He did a lot of G.I. Joes, and he did Battlestar Galactica, and I appeared in a couple issues. One I got killed in, and I was just some soldier, and then the other one I was a pilot. And there are several friends of ours, mutual friends of ours that he did. And he was in Omnibox, which was a band in the '90s who did a Here Comes the Rain cover that got a lot of play in the United States. I think it was on one of the newer wave compilations, if I remember correctly. And then he did SD6. Very, very, really great guy. Still friends with him. So yeah, he always asked permission, of course, to use names and things like that to make it, so we couldn't sue. Like, why would I sue about one panel or whatever that I was in? But now I'm in Battlestar Galactica canon, which is pretty fun. So yeah, one of the Battlestar wiki is very thorough. Yeah, very thorough.
Okay, and you must have been to a lot of festivals over the years. So
yes.
Do you have any festival survival tips, either as just a genuine attendee or as a band member?
Take time to sit down, because especially first day of festivals is always easy because you're all revved up. But towards the third day, when there's still really good bands playing, I'm not saying that because I'm playing on Sunday as well, but there's always really good bands. But that's when people start kind of petering out a little bit, and including myself, because I've been to many 3-day, 4-day festivals, and at the last day you're just kind of like, I kind of want to see them, but I'd really just like to not. Just to be outside and talk and take care of your ears is another big thing. As a person with horrendous tinnitus, make sure you have earplugs, because it may not seem like it helps, but especially ones with shrieking frequencies and stuff that might happen at festivals like this, it's good to take care of your ears, because then that'll also help you want to stick around for other bands, because you won't have that just exhaustion from so much constant sound coming at you.
Yeah. And have you ever had one particularly touching fan moment before?
Oh gosh, I had. It was funny / touching. I met a fan who's now a friend at a festival introduced by mutual friends, and she started crying when she met me, which has never happened before, because she just was a big fan and wonderful woman. Again, I'm friends with her now, so it's for me. I don't really. I mean, I have fans, but I always am kind of like, okay, I'm very much of the punk aesthetic of like, I'm not up here. We're here. And I just thought it was funny that she actually started crying when she met me, and I was just like, Hi, I'm just dorking around here at the festival. Got my soda in my hand. But yeah, between that, but I mean, I've also had people very kindly say things, just about what some of my songs mean to them. And I don't write, every song is not very meaningful. I mean, I write lots of really stupid songs, and that's great. But then I've written some, because I got through alcoholism and a whole bunch of other things. So I've written about things like that, which I know has really helped people, and it's nice to get people through that. And I've also made myself very available in case somebody does want to quit drinking, to just talk to them and things like that, which is to me an absolute honor as well, because if I can be of any assistance to somebody who sees that you can quit and still be very effective as a creative person, which is something that I know other creative people are like, I don't know if I'll be able to do it without being screwed up all the time. I can prove that wrong, and I've been, and people I know that have gotten clean and sober can even be more effective as artists because they're not redoing things all the time or going, that sounded great last night, but oof, now. So but I've had some. I mean, it's not like what people like Ronan or Tom Shear from Assemblage 23 go through, because their songs are so heartfelt that they just can really be related to. But I've had enough, and I've had a lot of very kind words said about me, so I always appreciate that.
Amazing. Okay, and now for something a bit different. So we have silly and sensible. So if you would be kind enough to
grab one of each. One of each. All right. So
and I'll read them out for you.
Okay.
Cheers.
And then I'll just that one seems like a good answer or question.
So, what is the best food you've ever had on tour, and where? From Adam.
Oh gosh, best food I've ever had on tour. I will say, without even joking, that one of the main reasons we wanted to come back here was to get curry, and the curry houses in the UK far exceed what we have in the United States. So I have had such good food here in the curry house, and that's what we already have it for the bands, and I've already indulged once. But I will say, I had a tour in 2009 that we were at the rough spot. Like sometimes you just kind of hit the wall, and everybody's kind of at each other's throats, and I remember we got a tour stop in where I grew up was state of New Jersey, and we stayed with my mom, and we went out to get Italian food. And I don't know if the Italian food itself was good, but everything was so awful up until that point that I almost started crying, just because I was so happy just to have some normalcy after being a crazy person on the road for several days, that food was so delicious, because it just marked a nice breaking point of like, things are going to be okay now. Yeah. It was just a real bad period. And we got in a car accident, and everybody's fine, obviously. We were all fine after that. But it was just at that point where everybody was just kind of sick of each other, and enough little mistakes and dumb little things had been said that we were all just kind of like sick of it. And then I remember just eating there and just all of a sudden just feeling so much better. I'm like with my mom, and I love my mom, and like we're staying with a better place, and like, okay, reset. Things are gonna be fine. That show that night was fantastic. That meant a lot to me. And again, I don't know if the food itself was good, it was fine. But it was just the situation. It just marked such an improvement over what it had been for like the last 2 days where things had just gone to garbage. So yeah.
And the other one you picked seems to be another sensible one, and so I must have put it in wrong. So, sorry, one more time with the silly.
I can handle this. I'll just take the top.
Thank you. Okay. So, what movie universe would you like to live in, and why?
Oh, jeez. What movie universe? Oh my. I will say that's a good question. It's not the MCU, because there's just too many deaths. It's
just go out to your car and it's been
I mean, part of me is like picking my favorite movies, but I'm like, I don't want to be in the Train Spotting universe, because that's hellish and awful and everybody overdoses. Ghostbusters? Sure, that's another one of my favorite movies. I'll say Ghostbusters, or maybe that, or the universe from the movie Airplane. But movies that make me laugh and are insane. Yeah, those will work. Sure.
Anything with Leslie Nielsen and ghosts.
Anything with Leslie Nielsen and or ghosts is gonna work for me. Yeah.
I love it.
We'll with very little time to think about it, I'll
So-
go with my heart.
A film featuring Caustic being haunted by Leslie Nielsen.
That'd be fine.
That would
That'd
be
be
amazing.
fine.
Okay.
I'm so available for soundtrack work. Although, if you just want to have a lot of f-bombs in your songs on the album, but I can stick with those two. That could work. Why not?
And we're all depending on you.
Yeah.
And just lastly, do you have anything you'd like to say to your fans, Matt?
Oh, hi, fan. Thank you. I will say that I have been working for way longer than I ever have before on new material, which I was hoping to have out by now, because I'm playing this and then we're playing Cold Waves in Chicago for the 10-year anniversary of that. It will not be out by now, but I'm excited because I'm debuting some new songs tonight, which I'm very excited about, very in line with Caustic. And who knows what kind of album? It might be 2 albums. I might actually be releasing 2 albums. I might be letting the bad ideas of ambition get to me and do something like that. But I don't know. But hopefully by next year, I've got a lot of good stuff in the works that I'm very excited to let people hear eventually. But yeah, otherwise, it's wonderful to be here. It's
Amazing.
a pleasure to meet you as well. So
Thank you. Well,
Yep.
thank you ever so much for your time. It's been
my
great.
absolute pleasure.
And thank you again for watching.
Thanks.
Thank you, Matt.